This week in Caribbean News, founder and CEO of CaribbeanTales Worldwide Distribution, Frances Ann Solomon, Lennox Price, the Consul General of Barbados at New York, Silma Brown Bramble, Director of the Americas, Caribbean Tourism Organization, Campbell Rudder, Vice President of Marketing of the Barbados Tourism Authority, convened a press conference to announce the CaribbeanTales New York Film Showcase to be held during Caribbean Week in New York on Saturday, June 11th, as well as to announce updates from the Caribbean Tourism Organization about the week's activities.
Well, the Caribbean Tourism Organization is a development agency representing 33 countries in the Caribbean. We do that in a number of ways. I will focus on marketing though, because that's what we do in the North American market. So we have an office in New York that handles the marketing for the Americas. We have a marketing office in Europe. We handle, in addition to marketing, human resource development. We handle information technology and research, sustainable tourism development, among a myriad of other activities in support of developing tourism to the region.
So tell us about the event you have coming up in the USA this summer.
One of the main events that we do in New York is called Caribbean Week in New York. It will be held during the first week of June, June 5th to 11th. And it involves a cross-section of the tourism industry, the Caribbean diaspora, media, the retail trade, the consumer at large. A lot of activities are targeted to the consumer because the objective of the activities are to get visitors going into the Caribbean.
The creativity of the Caribbean filmmakers will be a focus of the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Caribbean Week in New York, which will feature trailers of top Caribbean films during CTO meetings and events, and a day-long Caribbean film showcase with panel discussions and networking on Saturday, June 11th. The showcase has received early support from the Barbados Tourism Authority, the Consulate General of Barbados in New York, Caribbean International Network CINTV, and distribution specialist Michelle Mater. Also in New York City, the Consulate General of Jamaica, in association with Proud Jamaican Foundation, held a town hall meeting this week, focusing on the topic, the Jamaican economy, challenges and opportunities. Special guest speaker was the Honorable Minister of Transport and Works for Jamaica. The event was held at St. Luke Episcopal Church in the Bronx this past Saturday. The biggest news story in the world this week is the search and destroy mission that an elite team of U.S. operations military personnel engaged in that resulted in the killing of America's most wanted person, Osama bin Laden. President Obama interrupted regular Sunday night broadcasts to make the announcement that Osama bin Laden was killed by U.S. forces. When the country and the world got word that the president was about to make an announcement in relation to bin Laden, many were transfixed to their television sets or busily conversing back and forth on social networking sites. A whole lot has developed since that announcement, including the president deciding not to release the graphic photographs of the dead Osama bin Laden. So we are on the streets today to ask New York City a few questions. How do they feel? Was it a justified killing? How do they feel about the countries carrying our assassinations? Was President Obama right in not releasing the photos of the dead Osama? What does this American victory symbolize for Obama? Do we now feel a sense of retribution? Do you feel as though President Obama not releasing those pictures of Osama bin Laden, how do you feel about that?
If you release them, there's going to be a problem. There's a lot of hatred. If it slows down all the trouble, bottom line. I mean, think about it, all people lost their families and everything else in the bombing. It could be a good explosion. It's not worth it. Let it quiet, let it go. Let it die down, really.
So you back up Obama's decision?
100%.
100%.
100%.
9/11 happened. We lost a lot of lives. Were you touched by anything as far as 9/11? Did you lose anyone at the World Trade Center?
Thank God I didn't, but my dad worked really close to it, and he had to leave work early, and thank God he did, because I was really nervous and really scared when I found out what was going on.
Yeah, like a lot of us, even if you didn't know someone who physically worked there or was on one of those planes. You knew someone who knew someone, you know? So all of America was touched by this. How did you feel when you heard the news? Where were you when you heard the news that Osama bin Laden died?
I was actually at home on Facebook, so I just signed on, and all of a sudden, every single news feed had something about Osama dying. And at first, it was like, finally, like, they found him, but then it's also really nerve-wracking and really scary because what's going to happen now? There's so many of his followers.
I'm glad that they finally captured Osama. It's sad that they took this long, but I believe that Obama is doing his job as a wonderful president in office, and he can't be stopped.
Now, what do you think this means for Obama as far as him running for presidency again next year?
I think that he should be able to get through. He's well qualified. He's proven his skills in maintaining a target, capturing that target, and just fulfilling the needs of the U.S.
So now, were you like me? Did you want to see the pictures? Did you want to see the proof? How did you feel? What was your take when you heard, okay, we got Osama bin Laden, they shot him, they buried him at sea. Did you want to see pictures to prove that he was really dead?
Not really. The picture doesn't mean anything to me now. I just want, you know, we are looking for that. We have a peace, and we have to look forward for the next, what's going to happen.
I was like, phew, it's about time. Yeah, that's how I really felt about that. This took us a long time, but we must be persistent and consistent to stay above the rest of the stuff that's out there.
Got you. Now, do you think that the killing was justified?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. How did you feel about the fact that Obama decided not to release those photos?
Great about that. I think that was very important that he didn't do that, because you really don't need people to see these kind of things. Sometimes it's better to know about these things, but you don't have to see certain things.
Got you.
Yeah, that's what I feel about that.
Got you. Now, what do you think this victory means for President Obama?
For Obama, I think it's a great thing to happen during his reign. He needed that. And Obama been trying to get everybody to act as one, and the Republicans in particular to join in and act like we all together. And I think this was going to help iron that out a little bit.
Nice, nice. So I'm Brook-lynn Jerome. That was this week's Caribbean News. We were on the streets. We asked New York City what did they feel about Osama bin Laden. Stay tuned here next week for all your exclusive updates. You only get it on ZYNC TV.